I bought my dream house with my inheritance. But then my mother-in-law announced she had cancer and needed to move in. My husband said, "You're so selfish for hesitating." At the family dinner, I stood up and said, "I spoke to your doctor today." Her face turned pale. "Sarah, we need to talk," my husband Michael said. His voice sounded sad, but I knew he was pretending. I looked up from my laptop, where I was planning her home renovation. His mother, Linda, stood beside him, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. My stomach tightened. I knew this act. Linda was very good at fake crying. "The doctor says I have 6 months to live," Linda said, her voice shaking. "I don't want to be alone at the end." She fell into our armchair, the same one I had seen her measuring last week, complaining it didn't match her decor. "My name is Sarah Parker, and at 34, I had finally bought my dream home. After my parents died in a car accident 2 years ago, I used my inheritance to buy a beautiful Victorian house. It needed work, but it was mine. Linda never liked that. "Mom needs to move in with us," Michael said firmly. "We can turn your art studio into her bedroom." My chest tightened. The art studio was special to me, it was my dream to paint there. The sunlight coming through the windows was perfect. "I know this is unexpected," Linda sniffled, "but family sticks together in hard times." She had never treated me as family. In the 8 years I had been married to Michael, she had always seen me as the woman who had trapped her son. "Which doctor told you this?" I asked carefully. "Maybe we should get a second opinion." Linda hesitated, then said, "Dr. Thompson, but I trust him." I nodded. Dr. Thompson, the same doctor who supposedly diagnosed her with a rare disease last year, just before Michael and I were supposed to go to Italy. We cancelled our trip to take care of her, but 2 weeks later, she was fine. "I need to think about this," I said. "Think about it," Michael shouted. "My mother is dying, where is your compassion?" I looked at my husband. He had always chosen his mother over me. Something inside me changed. "Yes, I need to think about it," I said firmly. "This is my house too," Linda said sweetly. "Since Michael is your husband, it's his house too. And a son's duty is to his mother." "The house is in my name only," I cut in. "I bought it with my inheritance." Linda's smile faded. "But that's not the point," she insisted. "This is a big decision, and I won't rush into it." I walked outside to the garden, my favorite place. Sitting on a bench, I pulled up my phone and called Dr. Thompson's office. "I'm sorry," the receptionist said. "We have no patient records for a Linda Morrison." I thanked her and hung up. My suspicions were right. I called my sister, Emma, a nurse. "Can you check something for me?" I asked. 2 days later, I had my answer. Linda had not been to any oncologist. She had no cancer, no diagnosis. She was lying. For a week, I watched as Linda and Michael planned her move. She brought boxes over, talked about painting the walls. Michael barely spoke to me, acting as if I were cruel for hesitating. Then came the family dinner. Linda invited everyone, Michael's sisters, their husbands, aunts, uncles, cousins. She wanted them to pressure me. She stood up, pretending to be emotional. She announced her diagnosis, and said how I had graciously agreed to let her move in. Everyone praised Michael for being such a good son. Then I stood up, my hands were steady as I lifted my glass. "I have something to say." Linda smiled, expecting me to agree. Instead, I pulled up a folder and met her eyes. "I spoke to Dr. Thompson's office," I said, "and every other oncologist in the state." Linda's face turned pale. The dining room went silent. Her fork dropped onto her plate, the clatter echoing in the tense air. Her face, already pale, turned almost white. I don't understand," she stammered, reaching for her water with shaking hands. "Dr. Thompson doesn't share patient details," I asked calmly. "That's interesting, because Dr. Thompson retired 3 years ago. His clinic doesn't even exist anymore." Michael stood up suddenly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "Sarah, what are you doing?" I opened my folder and pulled out the papers. I checked with every cancer hospital within 100 miles. No Linda Morrison has been diagnosed with cancer. No Linda Morrison has even been tested for it. The room filled with whispers. Linda's sister, Patricia, leaned forward, frowning. "Linda, is this true?" "She's lying," Linda shouted, standing up. "She's trying to turn you all against me, because she doesn't want me in her fancy house." "Actually," I said, sliding the papers across the table, "I'm telling the truth. These are the hospital records. You can call and check for yourselves." Michael grabbed the documents, his hands shaking. This has to be wrong, Mom. Why would you? But she would, his sister Jessica said quietly. Remember when she faked pneumonia before the wedding? Or the heart problem when you got that job in Seattle? Linda's face twisted with anger. Jessica, how dare you? I'm your mother. Yes, you are, Jessica said, and I love you. But this has to stop. The lies, the tricks, the drama, it's not okay. Michael sat down, staring at the papers in his hands. Slowly, the truth sank in. The house, he whispered. You wanted the house. Linda lost control. Of course I wanted the house. She doesn't deserve it. She used her inheritance to buy that beautiful home while I'm stuck in my tiny ranch house. It's not fair. Not fair, I repeated, keeping my voice level. Like it wasn't fair when you tried to convince Michael to challenge my inheritance. Or when you told everyone at church I was flaunting my parents' deaths by buying the house. The shocked guests around the table told me Linda hadn't shared those particular details with the family. Michael's head snapped up, his eyes wide. You did what? She needed to be put in her place, Linda hissed. Always acting so perfect, so independent. A real wife would have given that money to her husband. Like you gave your inheritance to Dad? Patricia asked, her voice sharp. Oh wait, you didn't get one. Is that what this is really about, Linda? Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more.